Hello, sir. Good morning po. You mentioned po kanina this impeachment complaint is a long time coming. So, would you say that this impeachment of the Vice President is a logical conclusion given what you've discovered during the House inquiry?
Personally po, no, I can't speak for everyone else, but I believe I mentioned that it's a long time coming. We all had our own personal opinions that came out of, for example, yung Quad Committee and the Good Governance committees. But personally, as an active member of those committees, I feel that this is culmination and vindication of the findings that we have had there.
I guess this is a logical conclusion of what we have been discussed during those previous committee hearings, that the end result would be this, the actual filing of the impeachment complaint.
This is also a logical conclusion of the actuations of the Vice President herself. Nobody told her to go live on video and say that she has contracted somebody to kill the President, the wife of the President, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. That is a direct threat to the life of the Chief Executive, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, as well as the House of Representatives, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So clearly, as a Vice President, you do not do that to the President if you are to succeed, if that happens. This is clearly a betrayal of public trust and a high crime as considered by the framers of the Constitution. Mabigat po ito. This is a grave and serious offense to the Constitution.
Follow-up, sir. Balikan ko lang yung sa sinabi ni Senate President Escudero, kasi pinoint out niya na you took time in deciding on the impeachment. As far as you're concerned, kailangan bang kumilos ng Senado at the same pace of the House of Representatives when you have different functions? I mean, the House clearly is for the prosecution, and the Senate is for trial, and then he compares it with you. I mean, yun ang kanyang indication na why would they move why would they move quickly when you took time, when you have do you think it's a logical comparison given you have different mandates in this case?
Yeah, you're right. It's not comparable. As a lawyer, we always follow the court, we always follow the judge. If the judge will reset your case next week or next month for hearing, you follow that. Diba? And we will do that with the Senate. If the Senate says that we will convene at this hour, at this day, as lawyers for the prosecution, we will follow that. And we will respect that.
Thank you. Tina Pangilinan Perez from GMA7.
Sir, additional question lang po from my office. Just in case po, kasi we know naman in the rules that prosecutors are elected by the body. So, ano po yung criteria na ginamit po ninyo, and will those same criteria be adopted in the 20th Congress?
Well, we can't really speak for the criteria. It's in general. I think it's not an exact criteria po, no? Kasi wala naman po sa rules, wala sa Constitution. But as you can see, they've selected congressmen with relevant experience po. I think the first and the most obvious would be being members of the bar. And how it's, like I mentioned, it's not an exact criteria. It's just how we were elected. And sorry, maybe hear the second part of the question po ulit. Is this the consequence of the 20th Congress?
If same will be adopted in the 20th?
Well, it would really depend. I don't think it could be the same. It would depend on the 20th Congress. If there is a new composition, and if ever there will now be criteria in the rules, then that would be followed. But there's no assurance po that there would be the same process po.
Sir, of the 11, did anyone volunteer to be a prosecutor?
volunteer, none that I know of, none that stepped forward. We were elected by our peers, and we accepted it as our constitutional duty. But again, I cannot speak for the other prosecutors. I'm only assuming that the experience would be the same as mine.
Idadagdag ko lang po, no, kasi syempre, alam ko po itong dalawang kasama ko dito, isa sila sa mga humble na mga members po ng House. Ang nabuo po na prosecutor, lahat po magagaling, ang mga abogado, na mga miyembro ng House. Ito po sa mga prosecution team, ang gagaling po nila ng mga litigator. Yun lang po. Kasi alam ko hindi nila sasabihin yun.
Thank you. Let's call on Red Mendoza from Manila Times.
Hi po. I know na medyo mabibigat yung mga tanong ko. First off, kasi I know that the Dutertes are very, very much popular, and they still are very much popular. So, of course, it's election time, 2025, especially malapit na yung campaign season, and I'm seeing posts on social media na yung ilang mga pumirma ng impeachment complaint, tinatanggalan na yung mga mukha nila sa mga posts nila dahil sa galit nila sa impeachment. There is a considerable blowback against doon sa mga pumirma, doon sa mga prosecutors and all. So, do you, in your opinion po ba, kayo mga pumirma, would it affect your electoral chances sa 2025 election given na the people still support the Dutertes, and of course, may sa inyo may mga kalaban na pwedeng gamitin yung mga kalaban ninyo as a leverage against your bids?
Well, if someone from Mindanao, alam ko po yan. Naiintindihan ko, hindi ko lang naiintindihan, nararamdaman ko po. Pero tama po yun, once you're elected to an office, you are expected, not only by the Constitution, by the people, to act on a certain ways. Kailangan, you have to maintain and uphold the integrity of your office. And similarly, we expect our fellow public servants to do the same. Ito pong sa impeachment case na ito, nasabi po kanina ni Boss Noy, na there are serious offenses, high crimes committed by a certain, by the Vice President. So we cannot turn blind eye and be more concerned about the possible backlash that it may cost us politically. Of course, that's a consideration. Sino ba naman po ang hindi nag-iisip ng ganun? But this is already an issue of being a public servant. Secondary line yung pagiging politician. It's a value judgment call, sabi nga ni na paano mo ihaharap ang sarili mo sa mga tao na sasabihin mong bawal ang mag-threat sa kapwa-tao. Much more kung isang sitting presidente. Paano mo ihaharap ang sarili mo at sabihin mo na dapat walang korupsyon sa bansa? Paano mo ihaharap ang sarili mo na bawal mag-bribe sa tulad nating kawani ng gobyerno kasi gusto lang natin makuha kung ano ang ninanais nating resulta? Paano natin ihaharap ang sarili natin sa ating taong bayan na sasabihin mong kung ang mandated na isang ahensya ang magbigay at mag-audit tapos binigyan ng mandato ng isang konstitusyon ang isang ahensya para kunin ito at suriin kung paano ginasta ang taong bayan, sabihin mong sabihin mong dapat i-uphold yun, paano namin iharap? Ako lang, I'm not speaking for the entire membership of the House. Paano ko iharap ang sarili ko sa aking mga botante if I turn a blind eye and just simply concern myself with the possible popularity that I may get if I associate myself with who is popular and who has the tendency or the capacity to give me votes in the election. Hindi naman maganda sa isang serbisyo publiko na for the 3 years being a congressman na na-elect ka sa opisina na yun, na nagsumpa ka sa saligang batas, harap ng tao at harap ng Diyos, na itong mga ethics na dapat sundin ng isang serbisyo publiko ay babaliwalain mo lang just because you are more concerned of the popularity that you may get or the votes that you may get. Paano ho namin para sa akin, paano ko po iharap ang sarili ko sa aking mga botante if I turn blind eye on these high crimes that were committed blatantly under the sun, no? And kumbaga parang so much blatantly that we cannot even ignore, to a point that I can no longer turn a blind eye on these allegations and just simply brush it off simply because I am from Mindanao. I think it's time for us to be more circumspect in really trying to approach the issue when it comes to a certain area na sasabihin natin na hindi to pwedeng gawin ng isang publiko, na ang dapat ang magiging basis natin yung pagiging Pilipino natin rather than yung pagiging regionalistic po natin. I think it's high time that we should approach the issue based on our being patriotic, as not just as a public servant but as a Filipino, because we are all of us are expected to uphold the Constitution, and it's our civic duty to promote yung decency in public office.
Kong Lawrence.
There certainly will be consequences to every elective official. But if I did not sign this impeachment complaint, and if I did not accept the election as prosecutor, coming from Iloilo, there will be far bigger and worse consequences if I turn my back on violations of the Constitution and I will not do my constitutional duty to prosecute it.
Kong Raj.
That is a political question, and we will see the results in the May 2025 elections. And that is the right, sacred right of every Filipino people to decide who their representatives will be. But insofar as we're concerned with the constitutional duty to pursue this impeachment complaint, we will do our duty without fear or favor, not to be decided by popularity, but to side with truth and justice. Yun lang po.
Last na lang po on my end. Kasi you said, Kong Lawrence, na you're going to do information campaign sa grassroots. Are you going to use the campaign, the local election campaign to siguro push the people na ito yung desisyon namin na in-impeach si VP Sara, ito yung naging desisyon namin, ito yung facts, ito yung naging articles of impeachment. Are you going to use that as possible campaign material po ba when the local campaign begins in March?
Not necessarily campaign material, but I have a platform since it's election, and it's my duty to educate my voters, my citizens in my district, to understand what the impeachment is about and what are the allegations all about. It's their duty to understand that there is a constitution and there are limits to what elective officials can do and not do under the Constitution. So, isasama ko po yan. Bakit nangyayari ito? Ano ang dapat nating gawin? At intindihin nyo, kasi tuwing bumoboto kayo, kada eleksyon, yung mga opisyal na nakaupo, dapat magsilbi yan sang-ayon sa ating konstitusyon. Dapat alalahanin nila na ang pwesto nila sa gobyerno ay utang na loob nila sa tao. And it's not a cause for them to abuse their power when they're in government.
Okay na po. Ano lang po, kasi of course, are you going to use the local campaign to, kasi nga sabi ni Kong Lawrence, you're going to do an information campaign. So, are you going to inform the public regarding the articles of impeachment, siguro as part na rin ng kampanya?
Well, I think they deserve also. It's not a matter of us educating them. They deserve to know.
In addition to that lang po, I don't think it would be using the campaign. I think our constituents themselves will be asking us. Sila na magvo-volunteer ng question. There's a lot of confusion and they would like to understand the reasoning for our actions here in Congress, and we will deliver. We will answer those questions, and hopefully it will enlighten for our constituents.
Thank you for this press conference, because this is part of the information dissemination to the public and to all Filipinos na maintindihan nila ang proseso ng impeachment at bakit nangyayari ito.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Red.